It's 63s in the game. They missed 45 of them. Both of those are NBA playoff records. Our Tim Legler, our resident three-point specialist, was watching. He was not impressed.
What the Boston Celtics did last night was an insult to basketball, in my opinion, man. That's an abomination. An abomination offensively to play the way they played. And look, if people are going to sit there, well, that's how they play all the time, man. Live by the three, die by the three. What are you talking about? Watch the game. The Celtics contingent and people that love the Celtics or that defend the Celtics are going to say today, well, they're all uncontested threes. My ass. I watched, I wrote them all down. What I didn't understand was why were the Celtics playing as if for literally an entire 18-minute stretch, they played offense like there was 3 seconds left in the game. Every guy that caught the ball. That's what I was trying to figure out. What the hell is the hurry? You can't play that way offensively while this lead's slipping away without figuring out a way to get to a mid-range jumper, something at the rim or free throws. It's embarrassing. You tailor-made the environment for the Knicks to do what they did to you. This is on the Celtics. So, no, man, I was disgusted by the display. I don't care who wins the game. I was just disgusted because it's horrible basketball.
You're wrong. Oh, wow. So Tim Legler was watching, and he had interesting thoughts. Wilbon, Monica, and Jay Will, I'll start with you. Your reaction.
I mean, my reaction yesterday was I thought it was the dumbest second half that I've seen the Celtics play in a very long time. And, I mean, Tim just reiterated that. I mean, think about what led them to a championship last year. There were times, Mike, where we would see Brown and Tatum actually post up on the block. The only post presence they have is Porzingis, who went out with an illness the other day, or at least have the awareness to drive and rack the ball to get to the free throw line to find a way to build some rhythm. What we saw the other day was just, it was alarmingly shocking. Alarming. It was so apparent.
He said it well, Michael, that they played like they were down 20 rather than up 20.
Yeah, see, I don't even associate it with play. I associate it with something. First of all, they acted like the area inside the arc was a moat, right?
Right.
It was just arrogance. That's what it is. There's a certain arrogance about them and their head coach, and it worked last year. The reason I did not pick the Celtics starting the year, the league's too good to repeat. All right, I know they won, and they're driven by it, and I love watching Brown and Tatum, among others, and Derek White. I love watching them. But the league is too good. You have to go through enough people now where you can't give away a game. Oklahoma City's going to discover this. They gave away a game to a champion. Will they still win the series? I don't know, but that hurts you. Are the Knicks going to beat Boston? I don't think so. But you still give away. Did you see what happened to Steph Curry last night? You can twist an ankle in an extra game, in an extra quarter. You don't do it. There's an arrogance there that you don't respect the opponent. We do what we do. What? What kind of nonsense is that? We do it. Live by the three. Okay, you may die by it. Didn't pick them just because I thought the league is so good now. There's so many good teams. And even if you beat the Knicks, can you then get through Indiana or Cleveland? Can you then get through whoever's on the other side, Denver or OKC or Golden State if they're healthy? Maybe it'll break right again. But the Celtics were so arrogant in game one. They won't do that tonight. I can't wait. I'm taking the train up to Boston shortly. I can't wait for this game. They won't. They'll play basketball the way the Boston Celtics should play. And I know it's important to those guys, and this is what I really like about them, to do something Bird, McHale, and Parrish never did. To do something Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Rondo didn't do. I respect that about them. But that arrogance, that's what offended me from game one, was the arrogance.
The thing they didn't do that he's referring to is winning back-to-back championships. Those great Celtic teams in the 80s won 3, but they didn't ever win 2 of them in a row. Monica, you were there. What are your thoughts on what we just heard from Tim Legler?
The most interesting point about the Legs rant was, to me, the idea of uncontested versus still rushed, right? And because forcing a guy to rush is a way to contest a shot. And so I thought that was really interesting. Look, I'm obviously on the other side of this when it comes to the Knicks. And I was so impressed with the comeback for the Knicks. And I actually thought that they played their best defense yet versus this Boston Celtics squad. I guess I'm a little bit less offended by the three-point shooting, though, at large, because shooters shoot to get hot and shooters shoot to stay hot, baby. Like, you're going to let it fly. I just think, though, being there was this tenuous sort of air about it that one of these was going to fall, right? Like, yes, they still might have a number that isn't ideal percentage-wise, but you just felt like one of them was going to fall, which to me is why it was so impressive what the Knicks were able to do in terms of ultimately pulling this one out.
But Monica, was it 19 of 20 shots in a quarter?
Third
threes?
quarter, yes.
You see a lot of basketball in the play. That's the only other time I remember in a playoff game of importance. The Rockets did this a few years ago. And I think it was the game after Chris Paul got hurt.
Yeah, it was the D'Antoni Rockets.
They got a 3-1 lead on Golden State. And they were like 1 for 27 and 1 for 28.
But Mike,
does anybody anymore call a timeout and say you got not just credible assistant coaches, really fine assistant coaches to say, hey, there's a plan B. We don't have to shoot threes.
But they don't think that way. I mean, Joe Mazzulla was asked about it. His answer was make them. I mean, I don't want to play it because I don't want to take the time. But his entire response basically to what his team needs to do is, well, just make them. They're there to be taken. They're there to be made. Make them. That's his answer.
but can we state the most obvious thing is when you're one-dimensional, you're easier to guard. I know you're trying to get to the three-point line. You're not giving me any complexity within your offense.
But what they would say back, I agree with you, but what they would say back is this is what we do, and we always win doing it. They're 20
Let's see if they do it tonight.
If
you're so bold,
they
you're
won't.
that bad,
No way.
you're so bold, and your formula is your formula, and you're going to stick to it, then let's see what happens tonight.
No way, Mike, your arrogance is to that extent.
Of course not.
No way.
Of course not.
Monica.
I'm with you, Wilbon, in that I think they will still get those threes up. The process by which they get to those threes will change slightly. I think you will see more dribble penetration, really looking to collapse this Knicks defense.
Won't be a moat. The
but,
alligators
they're going
inside
up,
the
y'all.
ark.
They're going up.
Medieval times.
Ridiculous.
So what's the over-under? What is there probably is, this total probably exists, Hembo, or someone can tell me, what is the total on the prop bet on how many threes the Celtics will attempt tonight, and which way do we go? They shot 60 the other night. They average 39 three-point attempts in their last 25 playoff games, in last season and this season, and they're 20-5. They average 39. Will they go, if I put the over-under at 39.5 threes, will they go over or under?
They shoot 60 the other night.
60.
They'll go over. I still think they'll go over.
They got to go over.
But Mark
Say it again,
that's
State.
an important point. How they get there, and they're a real offense. They're so diversely talented. Why would you limit yourself, as Jay said, to that approach, and therefore make yourself easier to guard by a Knicks team that can guard?
So they took 90 shots. 71 of the 90 shots were jump shots, and 60 of the 71 were three-pointers.
The prop bet is, the over-under is 15.5 made threes. Go ahead, Monica.
I'll take an over.
And really just, not that I want to defend the Celtics, but when you look at this matchup through the season, I believe during the regular season, 50% of their offense in this particular matchup came from three, in at least 3 out of the 4 games, if not all 4. And so I think to add to Wilbon's phrase, the arrogance of it all, it's not